Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, as the case may be. Welcome to Verbling. Hi there. I'm Teacher Oakley. For the next hour, we're going to talk about reflexive pronouns and the verbs that commonly go with them. And we're going to practice using reflexive pronouns and those verbs to make sentences. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay. Welcome to the class, Daniela. Hello. Hello. Hi. Hello. Daniela.
Hello.
There we
Hi,
go.
Oakley.
Hi, Daniela. How are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm okay, actually. Thank you.
Okay.
Nice to have you in the class.
Yes, I knew.
It's a little noisy there. What's going on? I hear
And
bang,
this
pop.
moment.
Yeah.
What?
I hear bang, pop, slap, smack.
Is my little dog, my puppy.
That's your dog? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
What?
She is playing with a bottle of plastic.
Oh, okay. What's his name? Tornado? Typhoon?
Kiara. No, Kiara.
Okay. All right. All right. Sounds like. Okay. Anyway, Daniela, do you know what a reflexive pronoun is? Do you know what I mean? We're gonna be practicing using reflexive pronouns with their
Okay.
verbs. Do you have any idea what a reflexive pronoun is?
I saw the material and I see is the describe when I have an action. Myself, yourself,
Right. Okay. Reflexive
etc.
pronouns is that group of pronouns that refers to ourselves, usually with selves as a suffix. So myself, yourself, his self, herself, like that. Right. Very good. Let me welcome some others to the class. Hello, Tadio. Is it Tadio? Tadio? Is it Tadio? Okay. Welcome to the class, Tadio. When you have a chance, please say hello so I know that your microphone's working and I know you can participate in the class. Good evening, Juan Carlos. How are you?
Fine, you?
I'm okay today, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Juan. Welcome to the class.
Thank you.
Hello, Vu. Hi, Vu.
Hi, teacher.
Hey, Vu. What's new?
Uh, yeah. In the midnight, I studied with Dominic teacher. Um, when it happened uh, in middle of class, I forgot and sleep. I don't know. I don't know when I sleep. I sleep, and at the end of class, I wake up. I woke up and surprised, very surprised.
That's funny. Vu, I have never done that yet in a Verbling class. I'm waiting for the day when I fall asleep as the teacher in the middle of the class.
Yes.
Oh, that would not be good, right? Yeah. Okay. That's funny.
Maybe I have to drink coffee when study at night.
Well, my advice always is just get more rest. I'm a firm believer in getting enough rest.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So many
teacher.
people, you know, they run around, they exercise every day, they work so hard, and then they exercise hard, and but then they don't sleep, and I just think that's crazy. What are you doing? That's not healthy. Uh, okay, let me greet Adriana. Hello, welcome to the class.
Hello, thank you.
Hi, nice to have you here. Where are you from, Adriana?
I am from Venezuela.
Very good. Okay. Well, welcome to the class.
Thank you.
Okay, and finally, Tadio?
Yes,
Oh, there we go.
yes, sorry, I have
Now,
an issue with my internet connection.
okay, now I can hear you clearly now.
Okay.
Am I saying your name correctly, first of all?
Well, here it's Tadeo,
Tadio.
but it's Tadio, something they used to say that.
Okay, so shall I call you Tadio?
Yes,
Tadio?
yes,
Okay, that works
that's
for
fine.
me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's take a look. All right, we're going to talk about reflexive verbs. Well, first of all, you probably, you may or may not be actually familiar with reflexive pronouns, which are the pronouns with the word self, okay? In the singular form, myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. In the plural form, of course, ourselves, yourselves, and themselves. Okay. We use a reflexive pronoun after a transitive verb when the direct object is the same as the subject of the verb. Okay, well, that's a mouthful, but what does that mean? Okay, we use one of these reflexive pronouns after a transitive verb. What is a transitive verb? What does that mean? Does anybody know? Can anyone make that less technical? A transitive verb, okay, I'll take this one. You guys are going to have to work in a minute anyway. A transitive verb is a verb that takes an object. All right? So it needs an object. So that's why when the direct object, that means the direct object is the noun which the action happens to, is the object in a sentence. When that object, for example, the boy kicked the dog. What is the direct object? Daniela, what is the direct object in this sentence? The
The
boy,
boy.
the object. I'm going backwards in the sentence. The boy
No,
kicked
the dog.
the dog is the object.
Yes.
Right. And Juan, what is the subject? The boy kicked the dog.
It's the subject.
The subject of the sentence I'm speaking. The boy kicked the dog.
The boy.
The boy. Okay, obviously. All right. And Vu, the transitive verb is the boy kicked the dog. Kicked. Okay. Is kicked a transitive verb? Does it need an object?
I don't understand, teacher.
Does the verb kick need to have somebody to kick? Does it need an object, like the dog? Well, actually, that was a trick question. Usually the verb kick, in fact, does have an object, but I can say, for example, the horse kicked.
Okay.
All right.
What?
So, okay, many Many verbs can be transitive or intransitive. Some verbs are always transitive. Some verbs are always intransitive, which means they do not take an object. They don't need or want an object. For example, let's see, the verb appear. That's intransitive. You don't need an object. In fact, you can't have an object. You can say it appeared to him. You can use a prepositional phrase. In front of him, sure, but the it appeared him makes no sense at all. You just cannot use the verb appear with an object. So that is called intransitive. Most verbs are actually both, but in their transitive form, when the subject and object are the same thing, okay, then actually that's when you use a reflexive pronoun as the direct object. So we do this for transitive verbs. Now we're more likely to use reflexive pronouns with certain verbs. So that's kind of what we're looking at today. Actually, strangely enough, there is an English phrase with kicked in which we use a reflexive pronoun. Have any of you guys... Have any of you guys ever heard this expression in English? Hang on, I'm writing it in the VerbLink chat box. Whoops, no I'm not. I'm writing it on the page. Okay, well, I guess I could share it on here. Okay. Has anybody here ever heard this actually kind of common expression in English? I could have kicked myself. Or I could kick myself. I could have kicked myself. Oh my goodness. What does that mean? Oh, wrap your head around that. Can you, Adriana, do you have any idea what that means? I could have kicked myself.
When you hurt yourself?
Well, not physically. No, not exactly. This is not a...
It's that
Go ahead.
figurative.
It is
Is-
figurative. Thank you.
In the emotional plane?
Yes, it is abstract or figurative.
Okay.
So you're not really going to kick yourself. That would be kind of difficult and also painful. Okay, actually this is a fairly common English phrase, and we use it to express that we did something stupid, or we did something we really regret, we wish we had not done. I could have kicked myself. I said to the woman, the very large woman with the big stomach, I said to her, "So, when is your baby due?" And then she told me she wasn't pregnant. I could have kicked myself. Okay. There you go. I don't know if that's happened to any of you people, but it's happened to me.
It's happening, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. I could have kicked myself. Okay.
But a question, Oakley.
Sure. Yeah.
Is I could have kicked myself? Or
It depends. Past tense. If
okay.
it happened just immediately, happened right now, and you're in the middle of the act, you can use present tense. I could kick myself, or more often, probably past tense. I could have kicked myself. Of course,
Okay.
that's using the present perfect tense. But to talk about past events. Yeah. Okay, a couple other examples. Teach is a common verb that we use reflexive pronouns with. I am teaching myself. Very common English phrase. Teaching myself to play the piano. Another one is cut. Be careful with that knife. You might cut yourself. Okay. Many people do. Now here, Adriana, in this sentence, it's very literal. They mean physically. You may wound yourself. It's a warning, of course, because it's very common. Burn. Don't burn yourself. Okay, these are common wounds. So it would be very normal and very common to use reflexive pronouns in a warning. All right, in a warning is a very common way to use the verb and reflexive pronoun. Let's try it out. Let's look. We're going to look at a list of verbs most often found with reflexive pronouns. Hey, hey, hey. So using myself, yourself, his self. Let's try making sentences using some of these verbs. Vous. Yes, cut.
He's cutting his paper himself
His
by himself. His paper
paper.
yes,
Okay, by himself.
by himself.
Okay. All right. He is cutting his paper by himself. Yeah, that's a correct sentence. With the this is another construction. I'm glad you did that. With the reflexive pronoun used in a prepositional phrase with by. Okay, he's cutting his paper. In this case, okay, we're using continuous, right? We've got he 3 times. He's cutting his paper by himself. Actually, this construction is okay. He is cutting his paper. He cut his paper himself. He cut his paper himself. Yeah, okay, there's nothing wrong with this construction. All right. Let's move on. Adriana, can you try making a sentence with dry?
She's drying herself her hair.
Well, wait a minute.
She's drying herself her hair. Okay.
No, not okay. No, actually, okay, you're trying to do something similar to what Vu did. All right, he's cutting his paper by himself. That's okay. She's drying herself her hair. Now, if you like Vu did, you could remove this and put it over here. You could do that.
Okay.
Now that would make sense. She's drying her hair by herself. Notice this construction everyone's using. For some reason, everyone suddenly fell in love with present continuous tense. I'm not sure why. She dried her hair by herself. Okay. She is drying her hair by herself. Okay. Very common phrase with dry. He or she is drying herself off. Dry off as a phrasal verb. So that would be very common to put the object of the phrasal verb, dry yourself off. All right. Here's a towel, dry yourself off. This would be a very common, normal construction. Okay. Daniela, you want to try enjoy?
Okay. I don't know.
Are you having fun?
Uh,
Okay, well here, let me make it easy. Just answer this question. Are you having fun?
I enjoy. I don't know. Mm,
Okay, it may sound strange, but a very common phrase. When I say, are you having fun? It is very common. Well, it could be negative. I don't know how Danielle feels. This is an extremely common phrase. I'm enjoying myself. I mean, I'm having a good time.
okay.
I'm happy. This is
Okay.
a
Yes.
very common phrase in English. I'm really enjoying myself. I'm having a great time. So this is a very, very common phrase. Or to talk about someone else, equally common. They are enjoying themselves. He is enjoying himself. Keep in mind, also, the it doesn't have to be. So far, we've looked at all sentences with pronouns he, she, I, it. But in fact, it could also be a proper name. Okay, I can say Daniela is enjoying herself. Okay, herself and Daniela, of course, obviously refers to the same person. It is the same person is the subject and the object. Okay, so so Daniela, are you enjoying yourself?
Yes, I am.
Are you sure? That was a very slow answer. I'm not sure. Okay. Juan Carlos. Okay, Juan. I'm gonna.
Okay.
This may be
Heart?
challenging. Yeah,
Uh,
hurt.
just a minute. I'm writing.
Okay. What are you doing,
Ready.
Juan? Are you hurting yourself?
Ready. It's ready. Be careful.
It's
Don't
ready.
hurt
Okay.
yourself.
Okay, be careful. Do not hurt yourself as a warning. Okay, very similar to what we see with cut up here. That's very true. Okay. All right. All right. Be careful. Don't hurt yourself. Um, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Also very common, but it may seem a little strange. Another phrase you may hear, even though it may sound a little odd. For example, if I'm running, I don't know, running around the track, exercising, and I twist my ankle.
Okay.
It would also be very common to say, I think I hurt myself.
I think I
Okay.
It is also very common. Nothing wrong with Juan's example. That's a perfect example. That's great. No problem at all. But just want to point out that there's very common usages of some of these reflexive verb and pronoun combinations. Okay. Woo hoo. Voo voo. Voo voo. Okay.
You should introduce yourself to class.
Okay. Yes. Okay. If you're not introduced by someone else, very good. You introduce yourself. This is very common.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Very good. And there's a reason I was picking on Vu and singing Voo Voo because as soon as I see this in this exercise we're doing, I immediately think of a famous Rolling Stone song. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, maybe you guys
It's
don't know
fun.
that song.
Yeah.
All right, personal fave. Okay, anyway, moving on. All right, kill. Adriana, kill.
Um, um, we can kill ourselves.
We can. What? Okay, I don't know about in Venezuela,
Ours.
but this isn't a
Oh
common
no, no,
statement.
no, no, no,
I know
no.
things are bad in Venezuela, but
No,
really
no.
now. Okay,
No.
far. Relax. Gonna get better. Okay. All right. Well, this is perfectly, yes, your sentence is perfectly logical, although scary. It is a perfectly logical and grammatically correct sentence. And even though I make fun of Adriana, sorry.
No, not about with Venezuela.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. But, you know, you made it.
It's complicated this the situation of
Yeah.
my country, but not about with Venezuela.
Yeah, right. I know. Okay. All right. Actually, although I'm making fun of uh, or Adriana, I'm going to kill myself. Okay, that's actually a very common usage. All right. Of course, you know, you guys, if you hear this in English, okay, this is very serious, right? But people say this in a joking way. You know, you know, I could have kicked myself. I'm gonna kill myself. Doesn't really mean we're gonna do these things, all right? Just English speakers say this stuff to
When
exaggerate.
when you are angry with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, very good. Oh, that was a very good. Okay. Um, right. Okay, very good. Actually, good point, and we should look at that. Thank you. You are angry with yourself. Okay. Notice, first of all, there's a couple of things to notice here. First of all, our verb, of course, is the verb to be. The verb to be is notoriously fickle. It can be transitive or intransitive. It can take continuous verbs or not take continuous verbs. Basically, the verb to be is like the everything verb in English, so it does or sometimes doesn't do everything. So we can actually use the verb to be with the reflexive pronoun. Also, the other thing to notice here, you're angry with yourself. In this case, of course, you is the singular you. All right? Keep in mind that you can mean you, one person you, or it can mean you as in a group of people you. So similarly, although you and you is the same, whether spelled the same, spoken the same, whether you're talking about one person or a group of people, the reflexive pronoun has to match, whether it's one or more than one. So yourself, yourselves. Okay, here it only has yourselves, and there it is. Okay, notice singular up here in singular yourself. Okay, and plural yourselves. All right, keep that in mind. There's a difference. There's a difference with the old reflexive pronoun. It's apparent. Thanks for bringing that up. All right, Daniela, prepare. Can you make?
Okay, I prepare my lunch by myself. I make. No, I prepare.
Yeah, make is
I
also
prepare
possible.
my lunch
Okay.
by myself.
All right. Very good. Okay. You can also prepare yourself for a TOEFL exam, for example. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you
Okay.
can prepare yourself to jump out of an airplane by putting on the proper clothing and packing up your parachute. All right. Okay. Very good. And finally, Juan, teach. What are you teaching yourself? What is something you have taught yourself, Juan?
Is me
Yeah.
teach. For example, he teach himself 5 languages.
Okay. No need to.
He taught.
I'm going to go past tense because no one actually gave me a past tense. I just want to show you
He taught
that
himself.
I'm changing your sentence. I'm sorry. I'm taking liberties. For some reason, everyone was afraid to go past tense. You can, of course, do this in past tense. He taught himself 5 languages. In fact, these verb and reflexive pronoun combinations can be in any verb, any of the many verb tenses, except, okay, think about this for a second. Is there any way, and this is for everyone in the class, he taught himself 5 languages. Let's take that sentence, that's fine. Is there any way, Juan or anyone else, is there any way I can make this passive? Is it possible to make a passive sentence?
I have learned 5 languages by myself.
No, that's still active. Your subject is I have learned 5 languages.
Okay,
But okay, so can you say using now you'd be the action would happen to the subject in a passive sentences.
5 languages has been teaching by himself.
Well, first of all, we could never use taught, could we? Well, you probably have to use learned. We're taught. We have to use the verb past tense. We have to use the verb to be. This is required. We can't get away from that. 5 languages were taught
by himself.
Yeah. That doesn't even make sense, does it?
5 languages were taught
By himself. That.
by himself.
Yeah, but now we don't know. Okay, 5 languages were taught by himself. That doesn't really actually work. That construction does not work. Why do we need himself? Because it's not the same. The only reason we need to use a reflexive pronoun is when the subject and the object are the same. So we can't use himself. All right. Okay. Is there any other example here? Is it possible at all? Probably not. Because notice that the reflexive pronoun is always going to be used as the object. Okay, the the object of the verb, okay, or sometimes to add information by himself, by herself. I am enjoying myself. Myself is enjoying. Myself is enjoying. I don't think so. No, it's virtually impossible. Why is it impossible? Because in a passive form, you actually need don't need to know who did the action. So you don't. Okay, the blocks are stacked. We absolutely don't need to know who stacked the blocks in a passive sentence. So it makes it sort of impossible to use a reflexive. So there you go. Well, there you go. You've learned something. You can't really use a reflexive in a passive. It wouldn't make sense. Because again, because the subject and object have to be the same, and you don't even need an object in a passive. An object is superfluous. You don't have an object in a passive sentence, so how could it possibly work? It can't. All right. Some verbs change their meaning slightly when they have a reflexive pronoun as a direct object. Okay, before we try some others, let's take a look. What do they mean? Okay, would you like to help yourself to another drink? Or would you like to take another drink? What is the difference in meaning here? Vu? What is the difference between would you like to help yourself to another drink? A very common phrase in English. Help yourself.
I think uh, they will take a drink by themselves. Not anywhere, not anybody bring 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 a drink to them.
Right? If someone says in English, help yourself, it means go get it yourself. Can I have some water? Yeah, help yourself. It means go get a cup, go to where the water is, pour the water yourself, get it yourself. Help yourself. Yes, it means go get it. Would you like to take another drink? It means basically, would you
Invite,
like to drink,
yes,
right?
invite them drink.
Right, okay. Oh, here's another very common phrase. I wish the children would behave themselves. Ah, okay. English-speaking parents say this to children all the time. Behave yourselves. Yes, this is extremely common. I wish the children would behave well. Wait, is there a difference here?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Well, the difference is very small. In the first sentence, would behave themselves, basically would monitor, watch, control themselves. That element is not so much there in the second sentence if you're just wishing the children behave. There's nothing really about who controls. Here the children must control themselves. Here the children just must behave. Really, there's a very small difference.
Okay.
Okay. He found himself lying by the side of the road. Okay. He was surprised when he realized that he was at the side of the road. I don't know if there's really any difference there. Okay. How about this one? I saw myself as a famous actor. I imagined that I was a famous actor. Okay, you see yourself as something. This construction, Very, very common as well. Adriana, what does that mean? I saw myself.
Uh, I understand that the left column, when you
Uh-huh.
use the myself, yourself, is más specific that the right column. I
Mm,
saw
yeah.
my I saw myself as a famous actor is más specifically that imagined that I was a famous actor is más general.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, and that's right. Myself is more specific in that you are in control of the situation. I think that's what you're saying, and yeah, that is correct. However, there's another subtle difference here with this particular set. Um, if you see yourself as something, for example, I'll use present tense. I see myself as a brilliant teacher. All right. And I imagine myself as a brilliant teacher. Whoa, those are quite different. Okay.
And and also I saw myself is different pronoun that. I imagine that is everywhere every is different. Myself is specific.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, but what is the difference? I see myself as a brilliant teacher, and I imagine myself as a brilliant teacher. There's a big difference there, actually. Those are two totally different meanings, actually. Does anybody know? Okay.
Maybe I imagine myself is that is a wish. I wish
Is a
to.
wish. Very
Yeah,
good. Um, it's a fantasy. All
the
right.
fantasy. Okay.
Certainly. And the speaker recognizes it is a fantasy. That's correct. Very good, Juan. I see myself as a brilliant teacher means really think and believe that I'm a brilliant teacher. Now, it's not a fantasy. I am. Okay. So, in the I saw myself as a famous actor. He believes uh, that he is or that he will be a famous actor. There's also an element of the fact with you see yourself. It's not imagining anymore. You have become convinced that you are that thing. Now, whether someone else thinks it's a fantasy or not is completely beside the point. The speaker believes himself to be that thing or believes they will be that thing. Imagine is just, yes, a one-time sort of fantasy. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Applied herself. Oh, you need to apply yourself. Oh, yeah. Right. Okay, Mom. Heard that one many times growing up. Another very common collocation in English. Okay, in this case, in this example, a very simple example. She applied herself to the job of mending the lights. My grandparents, my mother, okay, you need to apply yourself, do your homework. You need to work very hard so you can be successful. You hear this a lot when you're growing up in an English-speaking family. Okay, in this case, much more specific. She applied herself to the job of mending the lights. She worked very hard to mend the lights. Here, a very, very small difference, almost no difference. Okay. Uh, Pretty much the same thing. Yeah, because they actually have very hard. Actually, that's very similar to applied herself. He busied himself in the kitchen. He worked busily in the kitchen. Okay. Again, as so many times here in these examples, it's the element of control. You have control keeping yourself busy in the kitchen. As opposed to just giving the idea, he worked busily in the kitchen. He's working. He's busy. Okay. Oh, here's another point before we practice some of these. The verb enjoy always has an object. We all enjoyed the party. I really enjoyed my lunch. If enjoy has no other object, we use a reflexive pronoun. They all enjoyed themselves. I really enjoyed myself. Okay, so enjoyed, if in other words, with this particular verb, if there is no object, because enjoy is a transitive verb that must have an object. All right. Remember how we talked about many verbs can be transitive or intransitive. Many are both. A few are always intransitive, like appear. A few are always transitive. Enjoy is one of the verbs that is always transitive. So if you don't have an object, you're going to definitely use a reflexive pronoun. Another very important point, we do not use a reflexive pronoun after verbs, which describes people, things people usually and normally do for themselves. All right? He washed in cold water. He washed himself in cold water. It is possible. All right. Technically speaking, that is possible, but it would be highly unusual. He always shaved before going out in the evening. Of course you shave your, why would he shaved himself before going out in the evening? It's very odd. Obviously, what else would he shave? He shaved his cat before going out in the evening. I don't think so. All right, you shave, you dress, you brush your teeth. He brushed his teeth himself. Well, really? When is the last time you let somebody else brush your teeth? Seriously. So it obviously is very silly to be using reflexive pronouns to talk about these things because it makes no sense. Things that you normally do yourself. You're not going to say, for example, he went to the bathroom himself. Well, actually, all of these examples, things you normally do yourself, if you consider it, when we talk about children, small children, toddlers, 2 or 3 years old. Oh, she went to the potty by herself. She brushed her teeth herself. Okay. In that case, it's not normal. In fact, maybe it's the first time ever. So yes, it is possible to use reflexive pronouns, and in fact, if you had a small child, it would be extremely normal. She dressed herself. I'm so proud of her. Okay. But normally, for adults, you would never do that. Okay. Here's another long list we'll never get through of verbs that use reflexive pronouns where maybe, depending on how you use it, it may change the meaning slightly. Okay. Daniela, are you there? No. Answer? No. Okay. Okay, Juan, can you try amuse?
Amuse. Usually children amuse by themselves.
You don't need by. Okay.
Ah, okay. So usually children amuse themselves.
Children, be careful about the S sound there, Juan. Usually,
Children.
uh,
Children amuse
themselves.
themselves.
Okay, nice plural with the plural children. And that's very true. Usually children do amuse themselves. Actually, it's very common to see this verb used with a reflexive pronoun. I'll just amuse myself with this magazine. I'll just amuse myself by playing games on my cell phone. Uh, okay, this is extremely common to hear used with reflexives. Vous,
Uh,
apply. Oh,
I apply myself to study French language.
to study what?
French language. French.
Okay. Um, okay. All right. You said language. Now, there's a little bit of, okay. Uh, okay, this sentence is a little weird for a couple of reasons. There's nothing wrong with the reflexive pronoun. I apply myself to study. Okay, to study French is okay. French language, I have to change this. I would have to use, whoops, not an N. I would have to use a, um, I would have to use the. I would have to use an article. The French language. There are many languages, okay? So I
Yes.
have to use an article to make sure I know which language I'm talking about. If I don't use language, obviously French is French. So I don't really need that. I apply myself to study the French language. Um, it's a little strange simply because you're using present tense as if this is what? A regular action, an accepted action. It's a little odd. Um, I walk myself to work every day. Okay, every day. There's no time reference that this always goes on. So I apply myself to study French language. Does that mean since you were born? Um, it's very strange. It would be much more normal to use I am applying myself to indicate using present continuous to indicate now
Yes.
at the moment, or I applied myself to indicate past, uh, or future I will apply myself. Um, it's a little odd to just use general present tense here. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
it's vague, very vague, because studying French. I mean, is not something that people do every second. There's no indication of a time reference, or it's a little odd. It doesn't really work. Adriana, busy, 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 busy.
Mm.
Actually, we're almost out of time. Let's jump down here to blame. Let's look at some we didn't see any.
Busy or blame?
Blame. Let's look at blame.
Blame. Okay. You blame yourself for forgot your
Forgot?
work. Forgot.
For forgot? What?
Forgot. Forgot.
Forgot.
One word? Forgot?
Forgot.
You blame yourself by
Again.
forgot your responsibility.
Okay. You blame yourself for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Forgetting.
forgetting. Okay.
Your responsibilities. For forgetting. Okay, you're going to use a gerund clause there. Okay, for forgetting your responsibility. That's okay. Okay, very common phrase. I blame myself for the divorce. I blame myself for losing my job. He blames himself for breaking up with his girlfriend. All right, things
Sorry,
like that.
teacher. What does
Yes.
this mean of blame?
Blame. It's your fault, Vu. It's all your fault. I blame you. I blame you, Vu, for falling asleep in the class.
Oh, understand. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who takes responsibility accepts the blame. All right. 6-year-old Timmy was playing with matches and he set the house on fire. So the blame falls on little Timmy. Okay. Like that. It's his fault. Okay. We only have seconds left. Distance. Oh, this is interesting. Vu, can you talk about one for distance?
Oh, distant. Hmm. Sorry, teacher. I think distant is a noun.
Aha. Well, it can be, but it can also be a verb.
A verb.
Yeah. Yeah. Juan, do you have any ideas?
With distance, is a noun.
No, it's also a verb.
I didn't know.
I don't know.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well,
Okay.
let's not even use a infinitive
Like
form.
to go away.
To make space between you and
Nice.
another thing. I distance myself from the disastrous project at work. Okay. Whoops, disastrous. Wrong spelling. There we go. I distance myself from the disastrous project at work. Okay. Definitely. I don't want to be associated. I do not want the blame for the disastrous project. So I said, oh, no, I really didn't have much to do with it. They just asked me for a little advice. Oh, I don't really know what they did. I am distancing myself. Okay.
Okay, teacher.
You distance yourself usually from a situation, a bad situation, which you do not want any responsibility for.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Well, all right, good. You learned something. Yes, distance can be a verb. And it's very common to used in this form. Distance yourself, distance myself, distance his self. This is actually very common. Okay. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit about using reflexive pronouns in sentences. I hope so. Hope you learned a little bit today. We are out of time. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
you.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
You.
You guys,
Have a nice day, teacher.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
good
See you again.
okay. All right. Bye, guys. Take care. Have a